just move forward with getting started, if that is good with everyone. So yes, if you are curious as to where you are, this is the info session that we're going to be giving today, just about the upcoming NASW-LA elections that are taking place this year, coming up pretty soon. And Jess and I are going to be the ones talking to y'all about it today. So just a little bit about myself. Some of you guys have met me, but those that don't know me, my name is Amelia Vidrine. So I'm currently a BSW student. I attend Louisiana State University. I graduate in like a month and 7 days. Not that I've been counting, but I have been counting. And so I'm really looking forward to getting into the field. But right now I'm in my BSW internship, which is for NASW-LA. So I've been working pretty closely with our chapter president, Will Francis, as well as some people on his team in Texas, including Jess, who is here with us today. And I'll let her introduce herself.
Thanks, Amelia. Yeah, and I'm just gonna kind of be on to support. So I am a staff member for the Texas chapter, but obviously, like Amelia said, Will is the executive director for both chapters now, which is phenomenal. I love New Orleans. My best friend lives in Baton Rouge. I was in NOLA like a month and a half ago. So I'm all good with the merge. I think that it makes us stronger. And so I'm so excited to be here and just kind of support the work of the interns and this full-time staff in Louisiana, but also just to help kind of get y'all connected. So NASW isn't just chapter-wide, right? We are an interconnected national network, and kind of the purpose of the association holds true no matter where you go. And so I'm very excited to bring some of the programming and engagement resources that we have at Texas to LA. So let's learn about leadership if you're new.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jess. So just a little bit of housekeeping, just some information for like while we are in this Zoom session. If you could have your cameras on, if you're comfortable with that, we would love to just see your faces, put a name to a face. I know a few people that I spoke to on the phone mentioned that they would be driving during this session. So obviously, if you're not able to do that, that's totally fine. We would prefer if you stayed muted, just so that there's no kind of background noise going while we're trying to, convey this information to you guys. But this whole session is being recorded and there's a PowerPoint available. So that being said, if anything is kind of missed, you guys will still have access to all of this information once this session is over. And you guys will be able to get that on the NASW-LA election page. So we're happy to provide this information to you guys and to members that you think were not able to attend this, but would still be potentially interested in running for NASW-LA elections. If they have some questions, they should be able to access this presentation as well.
And this is a small group today, so I'm actually less worried about the muting situation. When we talk about some of these positions, I know that several of y'all actually have experience in leadership. So we may actually be asking y'all to help us out and kind of talk about what that experience was like for anyone who's thinking about pursuing a new role. So just know we are going to have a dialogue, even though we do have info.
Yep. Awesome. So first, we're just taking a look at the regions that are in NASW-LA. You can get them on that website and take a look at them. You can also scan this QR code that Jess has made for us. But our chapter, the NASW Louisiana chapter, has around 1,200, it's like 1,220-ish people that are within our chapter. So we are the largest and most prominent like social work professional organization in the state of Louisiana. So that being said, we would love to have some support, which is why we're here, because we have a whole lot of members to serve. So NASW-LA itself has 9 regions within the organization, and each region is represented by a member of the NASW-LA chapter board. There are also committees within NASW-LA, and there's like member leadership opportunities as well. But basically the structure of the organization organization allows us to hear from members personally and get their input on their time being part of the organization to help us shape it and to move forward with making it the best for our members. So we're definitely excited to recruit some members to be on our board to get your voices heard and change the association. Yeah, you're good. Oh, someone in the waiting room. So if you guys are comfortable, we were just gonna stop by and say hello, kind of get some introductions from everyone that's on here so we can kind of know who we're speaking to. You don't have to speak if you're not comfortable, but I will certainly start. So like I said, my name is Amelia. I use she, her pronouns. I live in East Baton Rouge, so that is the region that I'm in, is the Baton Rouge region of NASW-LA. Area of practice currently, I don't have one because I'm still a student, but I'm interested in going into juvenile justice and school social work.
And can we just popcorn it maybe, since there's only a few of
That
us
sounds great.
on here? Cool. Yeah, just go ahead and I'll just go real quick. My name's Jess, pronouns are she, they. I'm in Texas, y'all know that, and I'm a meso macro social worker doing community organizing work. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Angela.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angela Wiggins Harris. My pronoun is she, her. I am in the New Orleans region. Woohoo! And my area of practice is healthcare. And I will pass it to Carolyn Lee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carolyn. Pronouns are she, her. I am also in the New Orleans region, happily under Miss Angela. My area of practice, well, I'm actually a little bit all over the place. I work with individuals living with dementia and their caregivers, but I also work in the nonprofit world doing academic research. And I also work with college students, coaching them through college persistence and as they transition from college to career. And then there are a couple of other small projects that I work on in a smaller capacity. So literally all over the place, but meso, macro, and a little sprinkling of micro work.
And can you popcorn it to someone?
Yeah, I am going to popcorn it to Dr. Shine. Yes.
Hello, everyone. I am Gabrielle, and my pronouns are her, she, and her. I'm from the Monroe region, and I work in higher ed in the School of Social Work. And I am going to pass the baton to, who's on here, to Mary Drake.
You might not be able to unmute
Okay.
herself. We can.
I'm
Come back
going to
there.
pass it to Michelle Strickland.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Strickland. I am also in the New Orleans region. Currently, right now, I work within the healthcare field for a managed care company.
Thank you.
And I'm going to pass it to Dr. Garrison.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Garrison. I am the Associate Dean for the School of Social Work at Grambling State University. I am in the Monroe region. And I think that's it. Well, and I'm glad to be here this evening.
Thank you.
And I can pass it to Miss Carolyn Reed. Is she?
Hello, and I will add, because she's very modest, Dr. Garrison is one hell of a lady. As you know, I'm Carolyn Reed. My pronouns are her, she.
Thank you, Miss Reed.
You are very welcome.
Okay.
I'm a professor at a community college, and I have a private practice. And as Miss Angela would tell you, I'm a storyteller, and that's probably my style, is being a storyteller. I'm also an ex-president of NASW Louisiana.
Awesome.
And I don't see anyone to pass to,
I
so
think that's it. I was gonna say, Melissa, if you want to
Yeah, I
do
was gonna
your
say.
intro.
I pass it to Missy.
Missy.
Well, thank you, Carolyn. But I think I'm hopefully hopeful that everyone knows who I am. I'm Melissa Hall James, and I am the office manager for NASW Louisiana.
Thanks,
Thanks, y'all.
Missy.
And I actually have a quick poll I'm also going to launch just to see where we're at as far as like election and NASW experience goes. So just really quickly, we're just kind of answering, where's your starting place with elections? Like you are already submitted your form, or maybe you know which one you're going for, but you haven't done the form yet, or maybe you aren't even sure really which positions you can go for, or maybe you still need convincing to pursue that. And then the second one is length of membership with NASW to help us understand kind of your knowledge of the association and how much we need to fill you in.
I can't move the arrow down because is over 10 years the longest?
Yes.
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 Okay.
I figured that would capture 10 to 30. Yeah.
Try
50. Yeah, I'm like, we can talk about it. You get the award for longest in the call,
Yeah,
I think, for
there
sure.
we
I'll give it to you.
Awesome. Thank y'all for filling that out. Yeah, it's good to know just where everyone's at kind of in the process of elections to see where everyone's head is. But thank you guys for filling that out for us.
And it looks like a lot of us, which I'm glad I did this, we still need to talk about the benefits of leadership and kind of the joys of leadership and why that's something that y'all should integrate into your lives. So that's great to know, because I think that's a good framework moving forward as we talk about the available positions. And it also looks like we have a mixed bag of people who have either just joined or been here for a long time, and then some sprinkled in the middle as well. So that's awesome. And thanks so much for sharing that info with us, y'all. Glad to know you. And now that we know each other.
Yeah. Amazing.
Just to recap the mission. Go for it, Amelia.
Yeah, so this is our mission specifically, NASW-LA. Most of you, I'm sure, already know this, but what we do within this organization is promote the profession of social work and the efforts of our profession to ensure justice and equality for Louisiana's diverse citizenship. I'm sure that that's something that you guys obviously do within your own personal practices, but just within ourselves as an organization as well, we want to promote the profession of social work and also to advocate for our members and for our population. So now we're just going to kind of go over the positions that we have that are open, and we'll talk a little bit about what those positions are. As Jess said, this is a pretty small little presentation that we have. So if you guys do have questions, just once we're done going over a slide, please feel free to just let us know. And either myself or Jess, or potentially even Missy, should be able to get those answered for you guys. So this is what our open board positions look like for this upcoming election. So the starred positions that are on here represent an interim appointment. So there is someone in that position currently, but as you know, interim appointments are temporary, and that will be needing someone to fill those positions. So Florida parishes, Lake Charles, we're going to need someone to step up in situations like that. And so just to give you guys some information about what we have regional chairs on here. We also have student representatives, and then some kind of just miscellaneous but still very important positions within the second VP and the member at large. You might notice there is something on here. There are two positions for New Orleans. There's a New Orleans regional chair and a New Orleans regional representative. Just to kind of tell you guys about the difference between those two things. So the city of New Orleans and that region itself has a plethora of NASW-LA members and obviously just also a large population to serve. And so the New Orleans regional chair will serve on the board as well as all of these other regional chairs. But the purpose of the New Orleans regional representative is to provide assistance and guidance and help to the New Orleans regional chair. So since that's such a large area with so many members, we have someone in that position to kind of help fill in the gaps and serve members the best way that we can.
This has the same thing, but just in a different format.
yeah. Just this is the same situation. But yeah, just kind of in a different format. If you guys had trouble looking at it the other way, I know for me personally, this was easier for me to understand. But yes, so those are all of the terms that we have coming up and the positions that are open. So now we're going to talk about like the responsibilities of each of those positions. So first we have the regional chair, and this is a current regional chair, Miss Heather Prejean, who is the regional chair for the Lafayette region. She was kind enough to send us her headshot just to show you guys some of the members that we have within these positions. So to be a regional chair for your region, whether that is Monroe, New Orleans, Alexandria, the requirements would just be that you are an NASW-LA member who is in good standing, and you are either elected or appointed to this position. We have a form that you guys will fill out to apply for nomination that we will link at the end of this presentation, so you guys should be able to see that. But really the purpose of this position is just to develop and support NASW-LA members within your region. And that can be via networking or advocacy or coordination of community activities. Basically, a member of that region who is going to lead and coordinate things within members of the region. And there's a few responsibilities, obviously, that come along with that. So you would need to attend annual board meetings. You would need to just attend 4. And like we said, they're in charge of really creating activities for members of their region. So you would work with developing those for your region, as well as having the opportunity to develop things for the entire chapter, which is exciting. And then you would also be responsible for communicating any processes or decisions from the NASW-LA chapter to your membership. And kind of on the inverse of that, you are tasked with actually the really awesome responsibility of representing the interests and questions and comments and concerns and everything of the people in your region. You have the power then to bring that to board and have their voices be heard. So you also serve as a voting member on our NASW-LA board of directors. But yeah, that's just a little bit about that. It's a really good opportunity for you to support your community of social workers and to have people hear your voice as well as the voices of members who have things to say.
And I want to pause before we move on to the next one, because this is pretty much the main position that we're recruiting for, right? It's just kind of regional chair across multiple regions. So this is like the most important position that we're going to talk about. Missy, I just wanted to ask if you had anything to add about the importance of our board, or any examples of activities that regional chairs have helped coordinate in the past. Just kind of any reporting from what it looks like on the ground.
Well, I think you guys pretty much covered everything.
Great.
But I think the most significant thing that the regional chair does is keep the region members informed of all of NASW-LA's activities. And they do that mainly by having monthly regional meetings. And since COVID, we've been doing those via webinar, where everyone, whether they're in that specific region or not, have been able to attend those meetings. But I think that's the most important part, is just keeping those members in their region engaged in what we're doing as the chapter as a whole.
Thanks, Missy.
Thank you. I'm glad that I asked, because that was great. And I really appreciate knowing that that monthly meeting is a part of that. Does anyone have experience being a regional representative that wants to talk about it? I just want to make sure I give space for it. I didn't hear anyone name that role specifically, but just in case.
We have Michelle on the line, and she's our regional representative for the New Orleans region.
Okay, great. Michelle, do you have anything to add about what that role is like, or anything that you have gained from it? Do you feel like you've gained any leadership skills, or feel more connected to your community, or anything of that nature?
Yeah, sure. So I would add that as a regional representative for New Orleans, it was definitely a great experience of working in partnership with Ms. Angela Harris as the regional chair to develop and plan out events and networking opportunities, as well as engage with the local members on what they were interested in and things of that nature. It definitely gave me the leadership skills needed as it relates for all leaders of, for me, the importance of engaging with those people you're making the biggest impact with. So yes.
All right, thanks. And then just to add from my own perspective, from working so closely with all of our local leaders here in Texas, and really just speaking with so many NASW members across the country about like what they value in membership, local organizing is one of the top ones, right? Like building an actual community, like creating relationships with colleagues and people who are, joined in a collective movement through NASW. So I just want to say that as well, that by, leading, especially in some areas where we don't have regional leadership right now, and kind of reviving that, you're creating more value to the membership that folks are already paying for, right? It really does enhance the membership experience. And that's, I think, what a lot of the regional chairs have a hand in, is shaping that intimate piece of the membership experience, that community piece, that local piece, and hopefully maybe some in-person pieces as well, as we, continue to get stronger. But I think that we covered it.
Yeah, I think.
Do you mind
Go ahead,
if I
Caroline,
say
please.
something? Do you mind if I say something? I feel that the regional chair and rep may be two of the most important volunteer positions on the board. And I think that we've had some of the most hardworking people that exist in those positions. So if someone's on with us and is considering applying, putting your name in the hat to be a regional chair, I would really like to encourage you. And I know, of course, I'm going to be real upset if I find out Miss Angela isn't going to continue, but I know that the regional chairs in Louisiana that have experience have always been willing to mentor new regional chairs, because when I was in my position, I can do some mentoring and I can do some speaking, but if I'm not actively a regional chair in that moment, I don't know what all they're having to deal with as clearly as a regional chair does. So I would encourage anyone that's online that's considering, it is a fantastic position. It's a much needed position, and you are the ears and words of the members of Louisiana and the non-members who often will attend the regional meetings. And I'll shut up now.
No, thank you for saying that. I'm sorry, Amelia. I just wanted to amplify something you said, which is essentially that not only are they most important, but there is a support system, right? And so I think that is oftentimes a barrier to pursuing leadership, is that fear of not having the resources or guidance and support to execute it in a way that you feel good about it. And I know that that's something that, NASW leaders across the country experience oftentimes, because we have such limited staff to really execute some of those things. But we have so many amazing leaders that can help you figure it out, who have experience. But then we also are kind of entering this new wave where I'm trying to help too. So I just want to say that as well, that we're kind of introducing new resources. We're introducing new guidance. We're trying to figure out ways to organize and collaborate and kind of universalize through shared Google calendars and all sorts of other kind of tips, tricks, resources. So we are kind of in the process of advancing and modernizing for the purpose of supporting leaders and the board better. right? To make sure that you all don't feel like you're doing it on your own. So I appreciate you saying all of that, because I think it opened up that conversation. And I think sometimes there's a fear that that won't be the case. So I want to assure everyone who's considering it that it will.
Thanks, Jess.
And if there are students on the call.
Yeah, so now this is going to be a little bit about our student positions that we have. So we have BSW and also MSW student representative positions. So just a little bit of information about those. A BSW student or an MSW student in good standing is eligible to run for these positions. You must have at least 2 semesters left before completing your degree, and that would be as of July 1st, since that's when our election terms are going to begin. So as far as the responsibilities of what the BSW or MSW student is going to do in this scenario or in this position, really we can summarize as just representing students who are in social work. But what that looks like is representing to the board any, like we said, questions, comments, or concerns of BSW or MSW students who are alongside you. And with other members of the NASW-LA board, we work together to get NASW-LA policies approved. We go over legislative agendas, and just other important decisions that are made within the organization. So this is a really unique opportunity for students to have their voice heard and provide valuable input to this entire statewide organization, which then informs the national organization. And that can look like input on the conference planning committee, or like we said, input on legislative agendas, or work with us on our advocacy day, or really just a lot of other opportunities for student affairs. So responsibilities of that also include attending those 4 quarterly board meetings, like that was the responsibility as well for the regional chair. And you're also responsible for just making decisions and working through the process to fulfill our chapter's mission, which we spoke about. It's just serving Louisiana's diverse population, really. You can also serve on our NASW-LA committees, which are requested by the president, and provide input to higher ups within the organization. And yeah, you would just represent issues to the board that come from students. Yes, Jess, you made an excellent point. There are professors on this call. If that's something that you yourself as a person on this phone call are not eligible to run for, but you work at an institution where there are BSW and MSW students, we would love to pass this information along to them. Just some other like kind of additional requirements or goals that we want for this member. Obviously, we want the person to be in good standing. We want this to be a person who has a really strong sense of teamwork and team commitment. Someone who is able to delegate really well and able to understand our board process and kind of zoom out and see this as a whole. So we want this person to be able to work as part of the board in general. And that can look like strong communication and interpersonal skills as well. So yeah, professors on this call, maybe if I'm saying that you've got 1 or 2 students in mind, please just send this application their way. I know as a student myself, it is a really awesome opportunity to have people like me and my peers to get their voices heard and to make change within our organization.
Angela, do y'all still
So
have the college liaison committee?
We really haven't met probably since into the first part of the pandemic. We have a lot of work. We still have all the good work that was generated, but it feels like once the pandemic hit, we kind of died down. So it would be really great to reignite that committee and, identify some members for the committee and get it up and running, because we started some really good work and just really haven't been able to execute on it.
Thank you.
Sounds like a board committee that the student reps could lead if we had some good ones in those roles next year, right? That could be a great student project for them to take ownership of.
Yeah.
They had the college liaison committee consisted of board members and the students.
Yes,
The students were wonderful about making a PowerPoint
yes.
that they would present when speaking to the different colleges.
Awesome. Awesome. And that's really just what we're looking for in this scenario is students who are going to kind of hit the ground running with us and kind of see the big picture here. So yes, anyone that you can think of who is not on this call, feel free to send this presentation to them, send the application to them. And Jess and I's contact information was at the beginning of this. I won't speak for her, but for me, I'm comfortable answering questions. So you can send them my email or my contact information. I'm happy to speak with people about this opportunity. Just I really do feel like it's so vital to making this organization holistic for professionals and students.
So where do we get the application from for the students?
It's the same application. They just got to choose the BSW or MSW student rep option. So in a couple slides, I'll drop the link in the chat and we'll remind folks how to access it. But it is the same for every position, including students.
And Monroe has already submitted some wonderful students.
Oh, great. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, and I know that especially in conference, like specifically speaking with you, Miss Angela, and a few people, whenever I was at the NASW-LA conference, something that we really emphasized was the need for young professionals or people who are emerging professionals to be involved in this organization. And so this is something that we want to spread the word about because it's a good way to get some fresh new perspectives and have the legacy of this organization and this chapter continue for years to come. So thank you guys for helping us out with getting the message across here.
Sure. And Amelia, if I could just add, while we do have all of these wonderful chair and regional rep and BSW, MSW student positions, there are several committees that we are hoping to, I don't know if I'm going ahead, so if that's covered, I won't.
Go ahead.
Okay, and so we really there's a lot of work to be done. As what was illustrated in this presentation, I've turned as the chair for the New Orleans region. So we definitely, want someone new, fresh to step up. I am definitely here to support, but I also just want to make sure anyone on a call realize even if you're not at a point where you're ready to make a commitment to serve as chair or regional rep, there are so many committees. And I think each of the regions, we're at a place where we're trying to come out of this pandemic mode where we've been doing so much virtually. We really need to get back in our respective regions and reignite our membership with some in-person meetings. And that's in the form of CEU events, but there's several committees that we also need people to work on to help support some of the work. Because even with New Orleans being probably the largest regional membership, and it's Michelle and I, it's still a lot of work. And so we really need different members for the committees to help support additional work within the organization at the state level. So just want to make sure everyone understands that as well.
Yes, thank you. It's definitely a team effort. And within the work that we do as far as student positions and professional positions, but also, yes, within our committees, we really need to all be working together to kind of not even revive this organization, but just to instill more life into it and more love into it. So thank you. Okay, so now we're just going to talk, now that we've kind of gone over the positions, there also really quickly before we move on to this next portion of the presentation, the only other like two positions that we haven't really spoken about yet were the BSW member at large position and as well as the second vice president, specifically a budget and finance position. Just a little bit of information about those two. So the second VP, the first vice president still will complete all of the obligations of the vice president that are outlined in the bylaws of NASW-LA, but really the specific purpose of the second VP is to deal with budget and finance concerns. Basically, it's just a big weight for one person to carry. And so the second VP is kind of to assist with like monetary questions. So if you know someone who is good with budgeting and finance and kind of using that knowledge to create and inform this big picture, please send them our way as well. And the BSW member at large position as well, just someone who is a BSW, and that is their degree and they're a practicing social worker, and that person doesn't have to be in any specific region. It's just a BSW who is willing to come on to this organization and really help inform specifically from a practicing BSW standpoint what that looks like and how we can support that community as well across all regions.
Missy, do you have anything to add about either of those positions? Either the second VP or Carolyn, second VP or BSW member at large?
I don't know.
Okay. Carolyn, do you have something?
But all I can say is I hope I sent the right forms in for second VP. Don't laugh at me, Angela. She knows who I am.
Good. Thank you. Okay, yes. So timeline and nomination tips. So this is our election timeline that we have. So we have this info session going on today, and you guys have still got a little bit of time to kind of get the word out and also get your applications in. So nominations are going to be due on April 21st. I would say probably at like 11:59 p.m. right? Like there's no specific time on that day that you would need to get it in, but that is the last day that we'll be accepting these nominations. Moving on from that, we would expect like April 24th to May 26th, around a month for elections to actually be happening, decisions being made for the board to be kind of working together to take a look at that. And we will release those decisions, and let people know what we have decided. That'll happen by June 1st. So you guys have got about a month after that to kind of, talk to your people and get things together, because July 1st is when terms will begin. I want to bring up, as Miss Carolyn said, like this June 1st to July 1st timeline is a good time for you to reach out to your regional chairs who are also currently sitting on the board, or people who have been previous regional chairs, to ask for support and guidance. But just know that, as Jess said, that will continue even past July 1st when you are in that position as well. Both myself and I'm sure a lot of members of the board are more than happy to kind of provide you assistance if you're concerned about kind of sinking or swimming. We are here to provide support. That's what social workers do, right?
Does anyone else need a second to write these dates down? Are we good? Okay, great.
Awesome. Cool. So how to apply, Jess is going to drop the link. Thank you. So that's the link to the application. You can also scan that QR code to get it. But like we said, those nomination forms are due on April 21st, and most of the form is just for our review. So it's just going to be kind of internally for us to take a look at, but there are a few items that will have your response listed to them on the official ballot. And those items will have a heading on top of them to notify you that your responses will be listed on the official ballot. So one of those items is our next point here, which is a candidate statement. So your candidate statement is basically just a good opportunity for you to express your values, skills, intentions, ideologies, really anything that you feel like you are bringing to the table in applying for this position to voting NASW members. And so this is just a short little way for you to kind of express yourself very personally. And the statement should aim to be informative about you as a person and about what you can bring, but also succinct. So we would want it to be no more than 50 to 75 words. If it does get above 75, they will likely be editing your response to be the most succinct that it can be, since, like I said, this is one of the ones that will be featured on the ballot. And so just kind of keep that in mind. It's a good way to really kind of personalize your application and tell us about you specifically.
Any questions about this? It's pretty straightforward. So it really is just visit the page, click apply now, apply, done.
The candidate statement is like right at the bottom of the form. It should be one of the last things that you have to do for this.
Okay, I do have a question. I sent the old bio form.
The old ones. Okay, Missy, do you have an opinion about that? I know that we did have a different format and we tried to
It makes no
simplify it this year.
difference to me.
Oh, you're muted.
What's the question?
Oh, she
Missy, I
submitted the old
sent-
forms.
Yeah, I sent to Will the bio form. Was I supposed to send it to you?
Well, actually, I think you were supposed to do it online.
Oh, well, I did not.
Yeah, can we just
But,
have you copy those answers over just to have it all in one place? I wouldn't want it to get lost.
Right.
I don't
It's
I don't
all right.
trust the user error of it all.
Because I will probably drop out if someone else applies. Anyway.
But if you go to, and I think am I screen sharing? Can y'all see this?
Yeah.
Great. So if I
Yes,
click on
yeah.
this page, this is what it looks like. Let's just do it together. So this is what it looks like. And it's just this apply to be nominated. So this will turn into a recording of this, but apply to be nominated. And this is what the form looks like. So it's a Google form, basically just email.
Mhm.
And then at the end of this first page, it really is just a couple of questions. I know it looks longer when I scroll through it like that. But it's just a Google form. So all of these questions are in the old version that you filled out, Carolyn. It's just in a different format. And that way we can review all of them at once. And we don't have to filter through different emails. And it just helps us stay more organized. I appreciate you redoing that for us.
Yeah, thank
Let me
you.
go back.
Yeah, and whenever Jess shared the screen, y'all might have seen that little section at the very bottom is where you will be submitting your candidate statement on that first page. So should be pretty easy for y'all to take care of. Okay, and now I think we're just going to be talking about kind of getting involved and staying connected with NASW-LA. So you can get our events calendar as well as the national events calendar we have our own bit.ly page, but you can also get it from just National's site as well as socialworkers.org. We also have a student series webinars that if you're interested in checking those out, we have those linked. Like we said, this presentation will be available after, but I really want to highlight the other thing on this slide, which is our date of action, our lobby day that we have coming up. So NASW-LA is partnering with the Louisiana Vaccine Alliance for a lobby day. And that's going to be on Monday, May 8th. So that's going to start at 9 a.m. and it's going to be in the Capitol Rotunda in Baton Rouge. So we'll have tables set up as well as just advocacy and lobbying going on. We should have some legislators there as well. So students and professionals are welcome to attend this, and you can register on that site that's listed right there as well as with the QR code. But any questions about this can be sent to Will, and I can go ahead and drop his email or Jess can in the chat for us, just if you have further questions about this. But this is actually something that I've been working on with Will. And as an intern, it's like kind of one of my first like big projects within NASW-LA. So I'm definitely excited about it. If you're available, if you're free, I would love to see you there just to kind of support our organization. And it's also a really good opportunity for you to do some networking and meet with some people, not only within NASW-LA, but like I said, legislators and other organizations who will be there as well.
Thank you so much. And I was gonna drop it in the chat, but
There we go.
I'm gonna do it anyways. Boom. Okay, well, it's not a link because I didn't put the thing at the beginning, but whatever.
Pasted it into Google.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it easy. I don't know. And
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, so just if you guys are looking to get in contact with NASW-LA specifically, there's our social media as well as national. And then our NASW regions in Louisiana do have Facebook pages. So you guys can just search NASW-LA Monroe, NASW-LA New Orleans, and kind of get connected to us that way.
And if you're a lifetime member and you're like, what the heck, I didn't know about that, that is recent.
Yeah.
That is recent, and we are trying to launch those and get them some likes. That's how several other chapters do it, and it just helps provide another local form of communication with those members.
Yeah, so that is pretty much everything that we have for you guys today. If you have any questions, now is a great time to ask them, or
Yeah.
like I said, you can always contact me or Will after this as well. If you think of something later that you forgot to ask here, I'd be more than happy to help out with that. Any questions?
Can I ask the group how we're feeling? Do you guys feel like you have a better, I know at the beginning we were like, we had to be kind of convinced that even pursue leadership. Like, has that changed a little bit? Do we feel better about it? I'd love anyone to kind of reflect on your intention, anything like that. Just in these last few minutes.
Good evening. I will talk because I'm gonna have to get off in a minute because I'm actually heading to church. But this is Dr.
Thank you.
Garrison. Thank you for the information. I do feel a little bit better about applying for a leadership position. As a dean, I'm already busy. Dr. Wesley is Dr. Shine because she just got married. So Dr. Shine and the other faculty members that work under me keep me really, really busy. So I feel like at first I was feeling like it was going to be a lack of support. And so that's my issue. So I don't mind taking on leadership positions, but I know I can't do it all by myself. So
Right.
you did reiterate there would be some kind of support. If
Thank
I
you so much for
chose.
sharing.
Okay. And I enjoyed you all. So I'm going to hop off right now. So y'all enjoy the rest of your
Thank you,
evening.
Dr. Garrison.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Anyone else have any questions or reflections? Feel a little bit better? We like kind of know what's going on now.
All right. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I just want to thank you guys so much for your time today. We really appreciate you coming out just to learn a little bit more about elections and to listen to us kind of share our passion for this organization. So I'm very thankful for your presence here today, and I hope that you have been encouraged and motivated to move forward in filling out your nomination form to just propel our organization even further. But like I said, in the meantime, if you have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, please reach out to me, reach out to Will, whatever it may be. But yeah, really, I just wanted to say thank you for your time and for your listening. Yeah, you guys have been amazing.
Awesome. And this will be, this recording and PowerPoint will be sent to all registrants of the webinar in a follow-up email. Also on that elections page where we're promoting with the graphic right now should be a kind of clickable image to the recording also. So for yourself to review, to share with others, whenever you're sharing that bit.ly link around, the recording will be accessible on that main elections page. So just make sure you're also helping spread the word to anyone else in other regions of the state who may need representation. So thanks y'all for being here.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. This was great. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. It was nice to see you. Bye, Dr. Shine. Glad to see you here.